بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. السلام عليكم and welcome to Fiqh al-Muamalat online course. And today is a continuation of the discussions that we have started on Gharar. We are still in the prohibitions of Gharar. And today we shall cover the 4 parameters of Gharar as mentioned by the IOF Sharia standard in the parameter of Gharar standard number 31. So the parameter number 4 that has been mentioned by IOF Sharia standard is that there is no need, meaning the need is not established to subscribe to that contract that contains Gharar. And here we are talking about a category of haja or category of needs. And the needs basically is one of the categories under the maqasid al-sharia, under the ad-daruriyat. We have the necessity or the needs, sorry, the necessity, which is the daruriyat, and the level 2, which is the needs, al-hajiyat, and number 3 is the tahsiniyat or the embellishments. So here we are talking about the second level, which is the haja. So one of the conditions established that the haja will not be established for, of course, financial institutions, for example, because we are talking about prohibitions of the gharar within the activities and the business operations of the financial institutions, meaning that the managements of the financial institutions and the Sharia board will determine whether there is a needs to subscribe to that contract that contains gharar or otherwise. So if there is no need established, so the prohibitions will stand. And as a result of that, it's not allowed to indulge, in such contract that contain what's so-called the element of gharar. But let's say the managements through their illustrations, survey, assessment, and evaluations, and of course supported by the decisions of the Sharia board and their review and their assessment to the level of haja, have agreed that there is a level of haja that has been established. So in this case, you may subscribe or indulge in that kind of contract, which may contain a degree of gharar. Normally, the example given here is the reinsurance, meaning that subscriptions of the takaful to the reinsurance. As you know, sometimes the risk is beyond the capacity of the takaful operators. So normally they will go to the retakaful company as well to cover that risk. So basically from takaful to retakaful, it is still Sharia compliance, what's so-called process, Sharia compliance business transactions, and the risk cover is still within the Sharia compliance status, because the takaful is a valid business model, retakaful is a valid business model as well. But the problem here is that takaful operators sometimes, or the retakaful operators so sometimes they cannot cover that risk because of their capacity or because of the nature of the scope, or that risk is not listed under their scope of business. And as a result of that, they may decline the coverage of that risk, or they may reply negatively to the takaful operator that we are not able to cover your risk, or we don't have the capacity to cover that risk, or that risk is not within our scope of business. And as a result of that, the takaful may go to the reinsurance, which means they go to the gharar based contract model. As you know, insurance, or the reason of the prohibitions of the insurance, is because it is a contract or a business model based and built upon the gharar. So here, the subscriptions to that gharar could be permissible if there is a need established to go to that kind of what's so-called business engagements. But again, going back to the same point, the managements with the Sharia board, they have to determine that there is a level of haja that has been established, and as a result of that, they may go to the reinsurance to cover their risk. But in case the Sharia board decline or reject as a result of their review and assessment and evaluations that the haja is not established, so basically the takaful operators or any financial institutions has no right to subscribe to that contract, which is a Gharar based contract. So this is basically the parameter number 4. If I may just recap quickly, the IOFI Sharia standard in their standard number 31 have basically provided the 4 parameters for the Gharar in order to be realized and applicable and easy to determine the Gharar in practice. So the first one, the Gharar should be in existence in the exchange contract, meaning عقود المعاوضات, and as a result of that, عقود التبرعات or voluntary contract are excluded from the Gharar, which means if the Gharar does exist in exchange contract, we may have a problem, but if the Gharar does exist in the voluntary contract, no problem. So that the first parameters, the Gharar should be in the exchange contract, not the donation contract or tabarruat contract. The second parameter is that we are talking about the excessive Gharar, meaning the Gharar should be excessive, meaning Gharar fahish cannot be tolerated and may lead to the impact of the financial transaction and may have a potential to create a kind of dispute between the two contracting parties. Hence, the medium Gharar and the minor Gharar are excluded from the prohibitions. And here again, the minor Gharar and the medium Gharar will be determined according to the market practice, according to the panel of experts who basically can distinguish between the different levels of Gharar. But normally the Gharar fahish is very clear, and the minor Gharar is very clear, only the one which is in the middle that may be subject to some kind of variations and debate. So the market practice, the panel of experts would determine its level. The third one is that the Gharar, if I may recap, the third one, the Gharar should be related to the primary object of the subject matter, which means that is not related to the branch, but related or to the part, but related to the mean, to the asl, to the primary object. And as a result of that, if that exists in the branches, in the part of it, it could be tolerated. And the fourth one that we have discussed just now is that it should be a need, or there is no need that has been established to subscribe to the Gharar contract. If the need is established, so basically the degree of tolerance and the relaxations from the Sharia will be granted, and you can subscribe to the Gharar contract. But if there is no need, for that kind of subscriptions of the contract, or there is no need to get involved in that kind of business transactions or those contracts which are Gharar based, so basically the prohibitions will stand and the parameters number 4 will be applicable. So hence, if the 4 together are clear, so it could be, the financial institutions, the managements, the Sharia board, the risk managements could be guided, when they run their operations in order to detect and determine whether this Gharar is applicable or not, whether this is the prohibition stand or otherwise. And as you mentioned, if it is muawadat problem, not muawadat, it's okay. If it is a very excessive problem, if it is moderate or minor, it's okay. If it is on the primary object, it's a problem. On the branch, it's part, okay. If there is no need for this contract, the prohibition stand, but if the need is established, so you can subscribe to that count of Gharar. So that's basically the overall parameters to have a better understanding of the type of Gharar. We stop here, inshallah. We'll carry on our discussions in the next coming sessions. With that, thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.